How to become a gentleman villain. The renowned Emperor Kloel had a son. However, after the crown prince announced that he would not succeed the throne, the people's support naturally split among the emperor's 3 daughters, leading to a struggle for power. The Frost Princess Selaha, the Princess of Wisdom Persica, and, as Emperor Kloel said, "It's been a while," the Princess of Charity Phenia, and she said, "Have you been well, father?" Emperor Kloel said, "My deteriorating health is no news to anyone. However, you don't look all too well either." Princess Phenia Elias Kloel looked down, appearing sad, as she said, "I do not believe that I am worthy of succeeding the throne." At the Imperial Library, Persica Elias Kloel said, I heard you gave up the throne as soon as you came here." Princess Phenia Elias Kloel said, "And you, sister, are always in the library at times like these. You aren't interested in the throne either, right?" Persica Elias Kloel said, "There is always joy to be found in discovering new books to read here." She was the empire's 2nd princess, Persica Elias Kloel. Persica Elias Kloel said, "That aside, it's already been over a year since you suddenly decided to enroll at Sylvania, hasn't it? I'm almost getting used to you visiting every school break, but you seem a little down compared to before you enrolled. Is it because of that Roth Taylor again?" The party hosted by Crepin Roth Taylor is suspiciously large. Many influential nobles, royalty, and even the saintess are present. I thought you'd be bothered by that. Would it be a problem? Crepin Roth Taylor is a loyal servant and a model noble. I and many others may think that way, however. You've always glared at Crepin Roth Taylor without any particular reason, it seemed. Given our situation, we are all gifted at reading things. For me, books. For Selaha, power. For you, it was people. Princess Phenia Elias Kloel said, "Is that so? Ha." And she said to herself, "The source of my depression being a Roth Taylor isn't wrong, but it's not Crepin Roth Taylor, it's Ed Roth Taylor. I wish to escape from this invisible power struggle and prove that I was worth more than my title. It's already been a year and 6 months since I left for Arkan Island." Meanwhile, the balance of power has shifted towards the first princess, Selaha, and the throne has slipped further and further away. But I don't have any intention of recovering any lost ground. That man has proven that my secret weapon, my insight, is useless. Persica Elias Kloel said, "I don't believe it when you say you aren't interested in the crown, but I trust your eyes, so I did some digging. These books are all of the books that Crepin Roth Taylor looked into while he volunteered to inspect the library. They are all forbidden books containing ancient magics of myth and long-forgotten evil gods. I heard of how you got disowned, Crepin's son, and that he recently has returned. Most people who lived as nobles would have starved in his situation. It's obvious that he'd want to return to power. But isn't it odd? Sure, he may have only disowned his son to appease you, but why would he suddenly reinstate his son now?" Princess Phenia Elias Kloel said to herself, "Ed Roth Taylor, who visited me in my quarters before he left, told me this as he took my letter. Ed Roth Taylor said, 'I didn't expect you to help me so easily. I was ready to negotiate with you.'" Princess Phenia Elias Kloel said to herself, "What if my original suspicions were right?" Princess Phenia Elias Kloel said to Ed Roth Taylor before, "You got yourself disowned on purpose because you knew something about your family that others don't, right?" And she said to herself, "And he had left Crepin, who was researching the evil god, on purpose, and his reinstatement was him being sent back home in shackles. Then the negotiations he mentioned would have meant that he wished to discuss with me ways to fight against the darkness that looms over House Roth Taylor. But I, with trust as an excuse, have once again sent him into danger." Persica Elias Kloel said, "Tonight marks the 2nd day of the party, so it will go on for 2 more days. I wanted to go too, but it'd take an entire day and a half just to get there, so I gave up. Although you might be able to make it there in a day if you rode non-stop." Princess Phenia Elias Kloel said, "Persica, I'll go now since you seem to be doing fine. It's late and I need to get some sleep." As a knight shouted, "Princess Phenia, we have prepared the fastest horse with the greatest endurance as you requested." Princess Phenia Elias Kloel rode the horse and said, "I will be riding at full speed. We ride to the Roth Taylor Manor." As they rode off, Persica Elias Kloel said, "A man who makes even the 3rd princess ride out into the darkness. The Roth Taylor Manor will be in for a shock. I do wonder what he looks like, but now isn't the time. With this, the only remaining princess in the castle is me." At the party, day 2. Ed Roth Taylor extended his hand and said, "May I have this dance?" Saintess Clarice, elegant and beautiful, held the hand of Ed Roth Taylor and said, "Oh, Ed, it would be my honor." The people around were shocked. The musicians suddenly started to play music. As Ed Roth Taylor held the tiny waist of Saintess Clarice, they gracefully danced. Saintess Clarice blushed as Ed Roth Taylor looked at her. The others also danced as the place sparkled. As the people around whispered, "Look, the loser who only just got reinstated." Saintess Clarice was shocked. Another said, "I saw him yesterday too. He seemed like a completely different person." An ugly man said, still, how could that lunatic ever change? As Saintess Clarice was silent, Ed Roth Taylor said, there is no need to be upset. Saintess Clarice was shocked. Saintess Clarice looked down and said, I was just thinking that I may have done all this for nothing. Ed Roth Taylor said, it's all right, Saintess. You have been a huge help to me regardless. We got this opportunity to dance, but I wasted it all on worrying. Ha! Saintess Clarice said, but this party is still far from over, so dance with me again, Ed. Ed Roth Taylor said, it would be an honor, Saintess Clarice. As he said to himself, the second day of the party, a more thorough search begins. Lucy is on standby on the roof in case anything happens. Janica will infiltrate Crepin's study to find evidence to take him down. Dancing with Clarice has brought unwanted attention on me, but this will surely help me in the long run. I'm sure none of the nobles here will find themselves picking a fight or getting in the way of my plans. Princess Selaha said, you seem busy, Ed Roth Taylor. Ed Roth Taylor looked at Princess Selaha and said to himself, except her. Ed Roth Taylor said, Princess Selaha. Princess Selaha said, hey, you're making a face like you've just gotten another issue to deal with. Ed Roth Taylor said to himself, that's exactly right. Princess Selaha said, leaving this grand party behind, it's obvious what you want. You're going to have a go with that commoner girl, right? Ed Roth Taylor sweated and said to himself, that's true, although it's not what she thinks. Ed Roth Taylor said, I thank you for your opinion. I will consider my actions more carefully in the future. Princess Selaha said, then may I test if those words are empty or not, as she tossed her glass of cheap wine. Ed Roth Taylor said in confusion, huh? As the glass shattered on the floor, the crowd looked at the commotion. As the maid cleaned up the mess of Princess Selaha, Ed Roth Taylor and Princess Selaha stared at each other. Princess Selaha extended her hand and said, would you dance with me too? You seem like quite the dancer. Ed Roth Taylor looked at her hand and said to himself, usually, the man requests the dance, especially when he is of lower status, as I had done with Clarice. But the Frost Princess asked me to dance first. With everyone's eyes on me, there is no way I can refuse. The maid looked at the mess on the floor. Ed Roth Taylor suddenly said, I cannot. As the maid stopped cleaning and looked at Ed Roth Taylor shocked and confused, Ed Roth Taylor said, how could I dare lead a dance with the princess? I am unwell and would only cause trouble. As he turned and walked away, leaving Princess Selaha hanging, and she said to herself, his insolence knows no bounds. This party was where I would cement myself as the next sovereign. I met the patriarch Crepin on the first day, and I was to meet the saintess on the second. Not only did he take the honor of being the first to meet the saintess, but he refused my offer to dance. Has he resigned himself to be Fenia's dog? He only shortens his lifespan. I will completely isolate you from all power. The investor Roland visits on the third day. He is an investor of a trading company that deals with all goods that enter the capital. He will dearly regret it when he realizes that Roland is on my side. He is a close aide to the company leader who recently took charge of the whole operation. The chauffeur said, Mr. Roland Bellatrax, your superior canceled your business trip. You have been requested to return to headquarters and carry on with your work. Mr. Roland Bellatrax said, huh? No way. Why? The leader is going? That's nonsense. I should go this time. I need to meet with Princess Selaha and network. The chauffeur said, would you like to speak to the leader yourself? Mr. Roland Bellatrax shook his head and said, that won't be necessary. And he said to himself, the eye of the storm. It can't be considered isolation, but instead the very center of it all. Lortel Ketchum smiled and said, heh. Ed Roth Taylor said to himself, the leader of the trading company, the saintess of the Telos order. As Saintess Clarice looked at Ed Roth Taylor with flowers and butterflies inside of her, Princess Fenia Elias Kloll riding her horse. Ed Roth Taylor said to himself, the princess on horseback, the genius spirit sorcerer, and the legendary mage prodigy. Lucy Merrill yawned and snored. Ed Roth Taylor removed his coat and said to himself, are all gathering around one man. Thank you so much for watching. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to help me grow my channel. Your support means the world to me. Don't forget to leave a comment below. I love hearing from you. Let's keep the conversation going and get those analytics buzzing. Until next time, take care.